What's up, Earthrockers? It's your boy Shovatar here, back again for another Simon's Quest video. I'm just going to go ahead and start this one up, because like the last video, this one has a lot of downtime. It's a little bit loud. So, this is a 100% run-through of Simon's Quest, and what that means, basically, is that in a like, any percent or regular run of Simon's Quest, you just, like, do all the mansions and finish the game. A 100% run requires that you... excuse me. Requires that you get every attainable item that you can get in the game. The exception is that you don't have to get every whip upgrade, but you do have to end the run with the flame whip, which is the fully upgraded whip, which you would do anyway. There's basically no reason not to do that in any sane Simon's Quest route. Which is good news, because if you had to get every whip upgrade, that would kind of completely fuck up the route, because you'd have to get the Thorn Whip, and you'd be, like, on a deficit of hearts. Anyway, I'm already, like, getting super specific, and we just started. This is going to start off pretty similar to the run that I posted, the last run that I posted, where I'm just going to spend the first day and the first night farming. Unlike the no damage run, I don't really have a concrete reason to do this. The reason that I didn't, because what you would normally do in an optimized run is you would go left out of the starting town and you would farm the salamanders for hearts. I didn't do that in the damageless run because you can't do that in a damageless run because you can't avoid taking damage. In a run where no damage isn't a stipulation, though, there's basically no reason not to do it. I don't do it here because it's really hard. It's, like, really obnoxious to get right. It's really difficult. And so I just also wanted to see, hey, how fast can I make this if I don't do the salamander farm? Because all of the runs that I've seen on speedrun.com that are 100% glitchless, that are under, like, 50 minutes, all do the salamander farm. So I wanted to see if I could do sub 50 without the salamander farm, and I did by a pretty comfortable margin. So I'm pretty happy with this, even though it does have the unfortunate element that I spend the first night just farming instead of traversing. But luckily, instead of the damageless run, this is the only night that I spend farming. So there's only one farm in this whole run. I think I might farm a few hearts in the second mansion. I don't really remember, because one issue with... I hope that's not getting picked up. The fans on my laptop are turning on for some reason. It clearly can't handle these high-intensity graphics from 1987. One problem with the 100% run is that because you're getting more items, the heart economy is a lot tighter. And what I mean by that is basically you need to get more hearts. So, like, for this first farm, I will reset if I don't have, like... In the no damage run, you really only need, like, 200 hearts with some leeway, because you would want to buy the holy water and then the chain whip. With this is tougher, though, because I want to buy the holy water and the chain whip, and then I want to buy the garlic as soon as I get to Algiba, which is the second, like, main town. Because you need the garlic to access certain merchants who sell items that you need to have if you're if you want to do a 100% run. So that's the situation here. Okay, the fans on my laptop are still going crazy, and if that, like, is still happening in, like, 30 seconds, I'm actually going to pause this and see if something is going wrong, because it really shouldn't be doing that. Hopefully it's not an actual problem. Anyway, yeah, you need to buy more things, so you need more hearts. So if you don't want to farm, which you don't if you're doing a speed run or anything where you care about the time limit, then you want to get lucky with heart drops. You want to get lucky with heart drops anyway, but the impetus is stronger here because you have more things to buy. And what I'm going to do after this first night of farming is I'm going to take a very tight run out to Algiba to get the blue crystal before the second night. And for a long time, I thought that you couldn't... I thought that was not possible. I thought that the only way you could get from the starting town to Algiba before the second night was to... Because, so, like, there's two paths from the starting town to Algiba. One takes you past the first mansion, and that's the upper path. The other one is the lower path that takes you through a town called Veros. You definitely want to go to Veros, because Veros sells the chain whip, which is the first whip upgrade. Not technically the first, but, like, the first one you would get. The Thorn Whip is the first one available, but there's basically no reason to get it in any route that makes sense. So you want to go take the lower route to Veros. I thought that you couldn't, like, do that before the second night. I thought you couldn't make it from here to there in one day, but you can going through Veros. It's really tight, so I'm gonna do some like fancy movement, some damage boosting to get there, and it's really close, but it is possible. So I buy the holy water, and it's also very important that I get to that door like before the night changes, because I basically need every second that I can get. 172 is not bad. It's not really what I want to see. I really want to get out of there with as many hearts as possible, because this isn't like I basically need 50, like I just explained earlier, I need 50 more hearts than I did in the last route, because I want to buy garlic as soon as I get to Algiba, and that's actually super important due to the way that Algiba is laid out and like where things are, but I won't really be able to explain that until we get there. So here's the quick journey from Jorah, which is the first town, I always forget what it's called, to Algiba. And unfortunately, I can't like stop to pick up those hearts. Even though I do want hearts, I can't stop to pick them up because I just don't have time. And so the fact that I have 172 hearts means that I need to pick up 28 hearts between here and there. And that's not really... It's possible, which is why I'm trying it, but it's not the margin that I would really prefer. You know, in a perfect world, I would just heart cap on the first farm and walk out of the Holy Water building with 206 hearts, but that's not the world that we live in. That first doorway back there is where they sell you the dagger, which is one of the sub-weapons you need if you're doing a 100% run, but I just can't buy it here with this route. I have to come back for it later, which does lead to a little bit of awkward backtracking on the way back from the second mansion, which you'll see when I get there. You really kind of don't want any backtracking in any Simon's Quest route, but sometimes this is just the only option that you're left with, really, that makes sense in this particular situation. If you're a total bitch like me and you don't do the salamander farm because it hurts your fingers, which is indeed the situation that I'm in. And again, like I said in the last video, I suggest you like look up the salamander farm, or you know what, just watching the salamander farm doesn't actually convey how difficult it is. You have to actually try doing it, and then you see like how close it all is. Anyway, so this is where the fancy movement begins. So that's really close, but I have to do that because I just don't have time to wait at the bottom of the stairs for those guys to come down for me to whip them there. And then that little boost up those last 3 steps seems small, but it's super important, because a point that I made in the last video is that climbing upstairs takes a really long time. Like, it's so slow. And then this is also really fast and really specific. I basically am running for like 1 frame. Let me actually go back for a second. Yeah, so I land and then I let myself walk for like, yeah, as soon as I register like that I'm walking, I'm like doing frames of the animation, then I jump again to barely clear that spider. So that's like that's the first like really close movement thing that I do. Here I almost get hit by that web, which doesn't really matter. I can get hit by this and it doesn't... How far back am I going? Okay. It's annoying. When I do forward frame advance, I can see it. When I do backwards frame advance, I can't for some reason. So here, I can get hit by this whip and it doesn't really matter, but I kind of don't want to, because if I do get hit by it, then I can't kill that skeleton. I just have to like... I just get like damage boosted through it and I just have to jump and keep going, but I want to kill as many enemies as I can between here and there to get as many hearts as I can, because I need that. So here, this is pretty straightforward. More heart drops. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't really have time to stop and check. Not that it advances time when you're in the menu, but I don't want to like check the menu. Like I just play with... If I get to the garlic vendor and I try to buy the garlic and I don't have enough for it, then I just restart the run. I don't bother stopping and checking. So here's another really close. I wait until I'm right on that seam, the seam that I'm standing on right here, and then I jump to get over the spider. Then I pause for like... I literally just stop for... How many frames is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I stop for 4 frames. Like I just stop for like an infinitesimal amount. Then I jump, so that way I get boosted forward by the web. Jump up here, jump up again, get boosted forward by the spider. Then I do a last jump to get boosted forward off the skeleton. And then I jump again because I know that I'm going to barely land on the edge of this platform. And then I'm in Algiba, and I can do everything that I need to do before the night falls. So that's what you have to do in order to get from the starting town to Algiba in a single day. If you don't do... You can maybe skip one of those things and barely make it, but if you don't do that, you're not going to have a comfortable margin to talk to the blue crystal guy. And like you just have to do that because the margin is so close. And the reason why this is also important is because like you don't want to get here and the night falls and you can't talk to the guy, then you waste another night farming. If you could be spending that night like getting to the mansion or like traversing the world. And there's a vendor off to the right there, but I don't have time to go talk to him. I have to peel right for the blue crystal guy. I just don't have time. And that's why it's important to buy garlic, because garlic... I have to buy garlic as soon as I get here, because the shops aren't open during the nighttime, so I have to come into Algeba with 50 hearts to buy the garlic, talk to the blue crystal guy, then go back down and get the first... Look at the first garlic merchant guy. As you can see, that's like, I don't know how many seconds that was, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So it's really tight, which is why I thought it was impossible for a long time. If you don't go through Viros, you have much more leeway, but then you can't pick up the chain whip, and so now you're doing like the first 2 mansions with the thorn whip, which would be your other option, which is not really what you want to do. I actually did have a route for a while that utilized the thorn whip, but it just didn't end up being necessary, because the only reason I hypothesized the thorn whip route is because I didn't think I could get from Jorah to Algeba in a single day going through Varos, but then it turns out that I can, so no reason to mess with the route. Yeah, I didn't have time to go to the right and talk to that graveyard guy, and then also get up to the blue crystal guy in time. So this was really exciting when I discovered this, because it kind of solved... I literally have a notebook somewhere where I have like 6 different routes written out for this 100% thing, like 100% no salamander farm. If I did the salamander farm, the whole thing would just be solved instantly, but I didn't want to do that, so I had to do some theory crafting, which, to be honest, is like the part of Simon's Quest that I find to be the most fun, is the routing and the theorizing behind it. Then actually playing the game is pretty fun, too. There's some fun, like, you know, action-y flow to it. But really, that's the only part of it that I find, like, intellectually interesting is the routing and the timing and the planning and that kind of thing. So I got my fun out of it before I solved it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, funny story about the graveyard merchants is that, you know, as anybody who's played Simon's Quest knows, the villagers in Simon's Quest say extremely strange things. And one of my favorite villager quotes is something about like, bring a clove of garlic to the graveyard duck. He says graveyard duck when he's talking to the merchant. So I always think of like the 2 merchants that use someone with garlic as graveyard ducks. So if I say that later in the run, that's why I'm saying that. Now, even though I've gotten through like the easiest, yeah, I'm farming for hearts here because I need to spend 50 hearts at the oak stake merchant guy to get the oak stake, and I know I don't have it because I checked whenever the last time I opened the menu was. And this is probably, I don't really know if this is the best place to farm. This is very, like, impromptu. The problem with farming here is that even though I'm getting a nice, like, rhythm of killing things to get hearts, it's lagging constantly because of those 2 skeletons up top. So this is probably not the best place to farm, but I just have very limited options, because I can't farm in the overworld, because even though I'm past, like, the hardest, like, day-night cycle traversal thing, which is getting to Algeba on that tight window, I still can't, like, waste time in the overworld, because my whole route is not... Like, the rest of the route doesn't accommodate any overworld farming, except for maybe at the end for the Morningstar. But I need to... Because the next important element of a Simon's Quest route is getting to the town with the red crystal right when day breaks. So that way you can get the red crystal and the Morningstar in the same day, because when you get to the red crystal town, you have to traverse some outdoor elements and then get to the town with the Morningstar, and you definitely want to do all that in one day. And that's even more... It's even more important to get to the red crystal town as early as possible on a 100% route, because in a 100% route, you have to take a little detour between the red crystal town and the Morningstar town to go get the silk bag, which is actually like a fucking nightmare area. I'm so glad, because I had it in my head that I'd like to maybe try damageless 100%, but like that particular area just made me say fuck it, and you'll see why when I get there. It's a total fucking nightmare. Speaking of additional random stipulations, I want to reiterate that this is a Deathless run, which is important mostly for like when how many laurels I buy and also for general gameplay and routing. It means that I can't just like die whenever I want and then instantly respawn, which is what some Deathless runs do. I am going to have to stop in Veros to heal up, and then the other thing about a no-death run is that I'm sort of being strategic with when I level up. Like, I have my level ups sort of loosely planned out, where I'm planning to level up at certain stages in the run, because when you level up, you get healed to full. And it's a very, like, quasi thing strategically, because that was really fucking close. That guy almost killed me, which is what happened in the early clip, the clip that started off the video, and Spear Knight guy just kills me there. But yeah, you can't really plan around level ups perfectly because level ups are dependent on heart drops, and you stop gaining EXP from certain enemies past a certain point. I don't remember what the exact cutoff is, but basically you can't just like sit and farm enemies in the early part of the game forever to keep leveling up. Not that it fucking matters in Simon's Quest, because all leveling up does is give you a higher health pool, and heal you. But the point that I'm laboriously getting at is that my level ups are kind of planned out, but because they're dependent on heart drops, I don't know when exactly they're going to happen, and so that's going to determine some of my routing decisions kind of on the fly. And I think what happens here is that I level up earlier than I'm expecting to both times, which isn't bad. The issue really, as in the damageless run, the issue is Brahms Mansion, because Brahms Mansion, which is the third mansion in the game, tends to deal out a lot of unavoidable damage if you're not glitching through it. And so if you are in a position where like you haven't leveled up and you're at like half HP, then your choice is either, well, do I go into Brahms Mansion to try to take some damage, then level up during Brahms Mansion, or do I like level up before Brahms Mansion to go in there with full HP and be like totally safe? Because I need a certain amount of HP to get through the Silk Bag area for reasons that you'll see when I get there, and also to get through the first patch of lava, because I really don't want to buy 2 sets of laurels instead of 1 for a big lava patch on the way to the 5th mansion. This is all very like detailed and very specific, and I'll point out like the relevant moments when I get there. But this is all suffice to say that like a deathless run of Simon's Quest is not as simple as like just play this really easy game and like don't die. You kind of do have to be careful about it if you also want to use your health strategically, which I had to do to get to Algeba early, which is why I'm so fucking hurt right now. Which is why damageless is like, I like doing no damage runs. I think they're visually a lot like cleaner, and they're pretty cool, and they open up you have some interesting leeway in terms of like how you approach certain problems. But using your health as a resource is also a really interesting like component of a lot of video games. Certainly speed runs and challenge runs. And it can also create like an element of peril where, you know, if you want to go as fast as possible, you have to use every resource available to you, and health is a resource, and so it also makes things like scarier because you're going to be sitting at 1 HP because you used all your health to like traverse, which is lighted here. So yeah, I stop here at the Veros Church to get fully healed up, because I don't think I can level up again until I'm to the left of the starting town. I think after your first level up, you can't get any more levels from these early areas. I think that's how it is. And so the church is just on the way to where I want to go anyway. Just makes sense to get that full heal so I don't have to worry about it. But again, the thing is though, I do still have to be worried about my health, because like I just said, Brahms Mansion, I don't really know how much damage I'm going to take there, because it's going to be dependent on the RNG movement patterns of certain enemies. So I still don't want to take damage, because I don't want to go into Brahms Mansion with like no HP and like depend on a level up, because I don't know when a level up is going to happen. But I also don't want to level up before Brahms Mansion, because ideally I would like take a bunch of damage in Brahms Mansion and then like heal it all off with a level. So my ideal situation is that I get to Brahms Mansion with like 60% health, because I'm going to have to take some damage on the way there from a lava pool because I didn't buy laurels. Because now in the damageless route, I bought laurels in Algeba, but on this route, I just don't have the fucking hearts to do that because I need to spend 50 on holy water after the first farm, then 150 on the chain whip, then 50 on garlic. I just don't have the hearts to buy laurels there. It's just not going to happen. So I can't buy laurels until I get to the red crystal town that I can't remember the name of, unfortunately. So yeah, here in this run, I'm doing the mansions out of order just because, you know, if you're doing a second day rush to Algeba, it doesn't make any sense to not do the second mansion first. I actually didn't know when I was first, when I was investigating this game and like the challenge runs that you could do for this game, I actually didn't know you could do the mansions out of order because I thought that the white crystal was the only crystal that could open up, that could like, because the reason you needed the white crystal to do this mansion was that first floating platform back there. You can only like spawn that with the white crystal, but every crystal like you upgrade has all the properties of the previous crystals. So you don't actually need to hold on to the white crystal specifically to see that, which I should know because there's a part late in the game where you drain away water with the red crystal like you do with the blue crystal. So I really should have known that, but I didn't quite put that together. Oh well. So this is pretty, you know, straightforward. That's the thing about Simon's Quest, is that Simon's Quest is interesting in the macro level, but pretty uninteresting in the actual moment-to-moment action, which is why it's very difficult to evaluate, because I honestly had a lot of fun, like, planning out and, like, routing and then playing this game, but I don't know how to, like, square that with a general evaluation of the game's quality, because a lot of that's me just like making, god fucking damn it, yeah, that's the kind of thing I really need to not happen here, because I want to get to Brahms Mansion with as much health as possible. I really don't need to be taking like random hits from enemies there, but it's not like the end of the world. If that was super important, I would have waited on the platform and not jumped at him, because I knew there was a risk of that happening. Oh, excuse me, but you know, I would rather that didn't happen. Not so much that I'm gonna like deliberately play around it, but it would just be better if I hadn't gotten hit there. Oh well. So yeah, and by the way, this was the awkward backtracking I was talking about. Was going from Viros up the stairs, then like back through the mansion, then back across this way. Not really great, not really what you want to do, but it was, you know, the only way the route made sense. This area is much easier to clear during the daytime than it is during the nighttime, because you can one-shot these daytime skeletons with holy water. If you try to go through here in the nighttime, you need to whip them to kill them, or use the Sacred Flame, which you wouldn't want to do, because that costs hearts. And especially in a 100% run, you need to be very, very careful with your heart count, because you have so much shit you have to buy. Especially if you're doing a no-death run like I am for no reason, which means you need to like worry about getting enough laurels to survive the lava pool. I wish there was a cooler way to kill that werewolf. You can kill him really easily with the Sacred Flame, and that looks pretty cool, but I didn't want to do that here, for the reasons I just explained. Yeah, clearing out these salamanders coming up is also easier during the daytime. Although, do I take a hit here? Let's find out. I remember, like, having bad health going towards Brahms Mansion and being worried about it, but I don't remember if this is where I take a hit, or if it was just the Spear Knight. Okay, no, I blocked it. Alright, never mind. Those dogs, by the way, that run by you have a fucking ton of health. I remember trying to kill those the first time I saw them, and they were just tanking hit after hit after hit after hit. So you're definitely supposed to just jump over them. You're not supposed to try to actually fight them. Yeah, this is not good. Going towards Brahms Mansion with 4 HP is not really what I want to see. So I'm probably... When you get to Brahms Mansion, you can either go right into the mansion, or you can go past the mansion to go get the diamond, which is another sub-weapon that you would ignore in a regular run, but which you have to get in a 100% run. And my plan at this point was to just go to the diamond area first. I think that was my plan. And then to heal up... to get a level there, but I end up getting a level right here. And this is accomplishing pretty much the same thing, but it also means that I can clear out Brahms Mansion first. Which I do because... why do I clear out Brahms Mansion first? Well, because now that I've leveled up, it really doesn't matter whether I do Brahms Mansion first or the diamond area first. I guess if I was, because in most normal routes, people buy 2 oak stakes in Brahms Mansion because of the way that the merchant is positioned. It's just like really easy to buy a second oak stake from him. So if I was worried about having enough hearts to buy 2 oak stakes, I think I would have done the diamond area first and then come back. But in this, ultimately I decided not to try to do that in this route. For the same reason that I don't do it in the last video, which is heart economy. If you're spending 100 hearts in Brahms Mansion, then you have to go spend at least 50 hearts in the Red Crystal Town so you can get through the lava pool without dying. Then you have to spend 200 hearts at the fucking Morningstar Town. It's just like, you just have to spend so many hearts. And so I had decided that I was only going to get 1 oak stake here. So I don't care about my heart count. I care about not overcapping, but I'm not really expecting to overcap here. What I mean by overcapping is that you can only carry 256 hearts at a time, so you should try to avoid hitting that cap if possible. Especially, as I keep saying, in a route like this, in a run like this, where like the hearts are so important because you're buying so much shit. So I don't know if I have a plan here exactly. I'm pretty sure I'm hoping to take as little damage as possible and then just like survive all the way through the lava pool area. Because the thing is that, like, you don't need 3, like, if you want to get through the whole lava pool area before the 5th mansion, you need 3 laurels, but you only need 2 if you want to get through, like, without dying technically. But if I get there with, but I need to walk through like a small patch of lava first and live through it, so I can't get to the lava pool with like terrible health, or else I'll just die. Unless I buy 2 sets of laurels, which I think I do end up doing. Yeah, this is not... It's only 2 HP, but like... Because I know that ultimately I do end up buying 2 sets of laurels instead of 1, which I probably didn't need to do. Probably not a good call, but that'll depend on like what my health looks like when I get out of Brahms Mansion, and like whether it was a good idea or not. Because again, like, if I knew exactly when I was going to level up, this wouldn't matter, because I could like plan it all out deliberately. But because I'm kind of reacting on the fly to these level ups, I don't know. Because I think what ends up happening is I buy 2 sets of laurels, and then I get to the lava pool area, and then I level up like right before it, and so I am like going in with full health anyway, and I didn't need the extra laurels. But so, which would technically make buying the extra set of laurels a misplay. But I shouldn't even talk about this shit if I'm not even sure that's what happens. So I'll wait until I get there to see it. And the other problem really is that I need to take damage on the lava pool, and then I need to take damage at the silk bag area to get out of it. Again, I guess I don't need to, but like when you get out of, like, getting into and getting out of the silk bag area is either you like super slow play it, or you take a bunch of damage to get through it, or you use laurels, or some combination of all of the above. And I think, and that's where the Deathless component really comes into play. And from a routing perspective, is it means you have to think more about laurels and buying laurels, and it puts an even bigger strain on your heart economy. Mitigated somewhat, I suppose, by the fact that no salamander farm means you can spend the first entire night getting as many hearts as possible in Jorah, but still a strain, still something to worry about. Especially because you can't, shoot, what was I talking? Okay, you can't, like, stop and check your heart count all the time on the pause menu. Because every time you do that, it, like, costs time, and it's not really, not really worth it. I had some weird webcam thing happen back there. I might have to, like, cut something out. We'll see. These birds are really hard to, like, kill without taking damage. And they'll hit you pretty hard, especially this late in the game. Well, not this late. They just hit you pretty hard. Their damage doesn't... I don't know why I said this late in the game. I just think... I guess I just assume because late game enemies have more health, they deal more damage, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Because the only thing that changes when you level up is your health. That's it, as far as I can tell. But the birds are tricky because you have to, like... Actually, let me go back a little bit. I'll go back and then I'll go back forward. Hang on a sec. So, yeah, The birds are weird. I don't exactly know how they decide what to do. But here, what I was doing sometimes is I would sometimes run down and kill the mummy and then, like, dodge the bird, but then sometimes the bird would just hit me. So instead, I just, like, take it super slow and wait up here for the first bird, and then wait for the second bird also, even though technically, like, I could probably jump over this guy if I wanted to, but again, I'm worried about my health, so I don't want to, like, take unnecessary damage. I don't want to take unnecessary damage. I don't want to take damage at all, especially since I had that early level up when I didn't really want it. Well, that's not... Well, not when I didn't want it, but, like, I had bad health, basically. The whole health level up thing didn't go exactly the way that I wanted, so I'm worried about that. But I'm getting a ton of heart drops here, so I probably should have realized that I would probably have an early level up with how many, like, hearts I'm getting. So, I don't know. Hindsight is 20/20, as they say. But that's part of what these commentaries are. It's sort of evaluation and noticing things you could have done better, things you could have done worse. This guy is so funny. What's he cackling about? Because he says ha 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 like he's tricking you, like he's gonna take you somewhere bad, but instead he just takes you exactly where you want to go. I don't get it, man. Sinister ass motherfucker. So this is good. My timing here, like routing day-night wise, is really good. This is pretty much exactly what I want. I want to get here as early as possible to have as much time to farm these ghosts as I possibly can, especially because at this point I've pretty much decided that I'm going to buy 2 sets of laurels because my health is bad. I'd quick pause there to check my heart count, so that way I can stop farming. If I hit the heart cap, I can stop farming and then go position myself in front of the laurel store to be ready to enter it as soon as day breaks. That's kind of my plan here. Now I'm, like, worried because there was a weird webcam thing that happened earlier, or, like, I don't know, the recording screwed up earlier, so I might have to... There might be an awkward, like, weird cut in the middle of this video, where there's, like, 5 seconds missing for some reason. So, if that happens, I apologize. I'm still kind of getting the hang of this whole, like, incorporating the webcam into the commentary thing, which probably most of you don't care, but... When you're dodging, well, actually, the reason I really did it is because if I wanted to do these commentaries where I, like, pause the footage and, like, go over things in more detail, and you know, I didn't want it to just be like nothing happening on the screen while the footage is paused because it looks weird. Okay, so here I'm buying 2 laurels. I didn't exactly perfectly make it to the front of the laurel shop before the night fell, but the fact that I've purchased an extra set of laurels is, like, sort of good and bad. It's good because it means that I can get out of the silk bag area more quickly. It's bad because now I have to farm, excuse me, more hearts before the Morningstar area, which is particularly problematic because, oh, at least I heart capped, which is good, which is particularly problematic because I want to use the golden knife to get through these areas safely, and the golden knife costs 2 hearts per uses. So as you can see, there's a lot, like, straining your heart count here, and again, I need to get to the next town with 200 hearts, so I really need the enemies here to drop hearts, and I need to not, like, overuse the golden knife, which is very easy to do if you're trying not to get hit. Okay, so this, like, silk bag area is such a fucking tremendous pain in the ass. The first thing I want to point out is the lava pool down here, so I'm going to have to take damage on the way out. You go in, this part's fine. Jump. This is also fine. It's a little annoying, because it's very easy to not go far enough to the left and, like, not hit that second turret. Oh, and everything here has 1,000,000 health for some reason, by the way. You'll notice that the green skeletons in the prior area were taking 1 hit to kill. These ones are now taking 2 hits. But there's these fucking slimes everywhere on these, like, weird elevations. And you just kind of have to hope they get hit by your fucking knife, or like, it's just so annoying trying to kill them when they're at like different elevations, and they keep showing up too. So here I drop garlic to summon the second graveyard duck. I get the silk bag, and my plan here is to just wait for this slime to hit the garlic, because typically what happens, because what garlic actually does, aside from just summon the graveyard ducks, is that when enemies contact the garlic, they'll get like stun locked. So I'm sitting here waiting for this guy to get stun locked so I can jump over him, and then he fucking perfectly dodges the garlic to hit me. And now I'm just like, and he hits me twice. So now I'm just pissed. Now I'm half wondering if the run is just fucking over, because I'm probably going to use, I have to use 2 laurels to get out of here. And then I have to use 2 laurels to get through the lava pool. So I'm expecting, like, if I take one more hit here, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna die, because is my concern at this point. So that really fucking pissed me off. The fact that slime hit me like twice. That's annoying. But the good news is I have pretty good hearts. 176 is like, you know, it's not great, but it's not bad. And I think the farm, so I do have to do a little impromptu farming here, which I was pretty nervous about, because, you know, you have to do, you know, get the red crystal, get the silk bag, get the morning star all in the same day, and that's kind of tight. So this farm really does need to go well. And then I have to make it through this, and plus, now that I'm super worried about my health, now I have to get through the slimes coming up here, because there's one more room full of slimes without taking any additional hits. So this is just like a shit fest, basically. Or at least I think it is, but the fact that I'm doing this extra farm that I wouldn't normally do, because normally I would only buy 1 set of laurels, means that I have more hearts, which means that I'm gonna level up before I'm gonna level up early, basically. But I'm just not like, I'm not really like putting that together here. I'm just happy to be this far in the run, and I'm happy, and I'm just thinking about going fast. So I could have taken more hits in that slime area if I wanted to, because I'm like on track for an early level up, but I didn't put that together. That's the interesting thing, is that even though, like, this is what's interesting about a Deathless run in particular, is that you just introduce these weird variables that you have to try to react to in real time. I don't know, there's nothing like wrong with intentionally dying in a speed run. I think it's just kind of my like weird archaic mindset of like, you should try not to die in a video game. It just looks, you know, wrong. That was a rule, I think, in really old speedrunning websites like Twin Galaxies. If any of you guys watch any Summoning Salt videos, you've probably heard about that. They would say like, you can't like die, you can't like, I think some of them would even say like, you can't damage boost, which I think is stupid. I think that's like dumb, saying you can't damage boost. Because that's like, number one, it's legitimate skill expression. Number two, it's really cool. Yeah, see, look, that's a super early level up. That's like so much earlier than I actually even thought it was going to be, or than I remembered it being. So I'm pretty much fine at this point. Now I just have to not fuck up. That solved all of my concerns about my health level. I just have to not fuck up at this point. And because I farmed, I'm also getting a night transition earlier than I wanted. So I'm slightly concerned at this point that I might have a one more day night transition at the end that I don't want. But I don't think that ends up happening. I think it's only one more day, then one more night, then one more day after this, I think. Don't exactly recall. We'll find out together. It's a very satisfying sound effect. In the last video that I posted, the game sound was kind of quiet, so I turned it up here. Hopefully you guys can at least kind of hear it. The problem is that I don't really know how it's going to sound like mixed with my voice until I like compress the vocal track and then like mix it together. So I don't know. I don't want it to be so loud that it's like disruptive, because, you know, if you're watching the commentary version, presumably you want to hear me talk for some reason. But I also don't want it to be so quiet that it's like not there at all. So it's a tricky balance to have to strike. The wonders of audio editing. Although I'm not really even doing anything fancy. I like to keep this stuff as simple as possible. Anyway, so we're coming up now in the big lava pool before the 5th mansion. I've got all the items now. I just need to get the magic cross from the boss and then make it to the end. And just to kind of catalog, the extra items that I get in this run that I didn't get in the damageless run are the dagger and the silver knife and then the garlic. Well, the garlic to get the silver knife. So a grand total of 100 extra hearts spent. Yeah, this is the part where I take damage and then I use laurels for the rest of it. Kind of an awkward menu swap there. I really should have, when I swapped to the laurels, I should have swapped to the shield on the same little menu segment, but oh well. I don't really know how much time that loses. It's probably only a couple seconds. Which, in a speedrun that's this long isn't really a huge deal. I don't even really... I call it a speedrun, like I format the titles like it's a speedrun, and I submit it to speedrun.com, but like... I don't really think of these as speedruns, necessarily. I guess they technically are. What's nice about that early level up, though, is that now I can just walk up the stairs right into that spear knight, and I don't have to worry about it. Whereas in the damageless run, I would have had to, like, go off to the right and then jump off and throw a knife at him to kill him before I go up those stairs. But now that my health is, like, because without that extra farm before the Morningstar town, I sometimes wouldn't even level up until I was, like, most of the way through this mansion. So sometimes I would get in here and I would, like, still be worrying about my health. But now, thanks to that early level up, I don't have to worry about that. So it all worked out, even though I probably made some suboptimal decisions. Somewhere along the line, it all worked out. Excuse me. It's been a long time since I've talked this much. I'm not used to... I'm giving my lungs some exercise. Yeah, unfortunately I have to go get a second oak steak. Or a first one, and then I'll get a second one from the same guy. Because the best second oak steak to get is in Brahms Mansion, but by far the worst oak steak to get is the one in the 4th mansion. Which is... Can I even fucking remember? I think it's called Bodley. I think the 4th mansion is Bodley. I know this one is Laruba. Oh yeah, so this boss, I explained this in the other video, but I'll just explain it again. So this boss is pretty tricky to fight if you don't have the golden knife from the Grim Reaper, which you would have to get for a 100% run. I got it in the damageless run, even though I technically didn't have to, just because it made this boss fight easier. But if you didn't see that video, I'll explain it again. Basically, the golden knife lets you stun lock this boss if you jump on a particular like timing, and then keep on throwing the knives on a same particular timing to keep it in place. If you don't do this, then you have to kill it with some really fast like whip swings on the way up to do half of its health, and then hope that it gives you a good pattern for the rest of the fight, because it can either stand up top and shoot fireballs down or like swing around. Excuse me, and when it's standing up top shooting fireballs down, you can't hit it, so you can lose a ton of time there if it just decides to sit up at the top of the screen and shoot fireballs forever. But if you just stun lock and kill it with the golden knife as soon as you get in, you don't have to worry about that. So, very, very nice. It is hard, but it means that if you do something right, you don't have to worry about losing a bunch of time to RNG. So now that that's out of the way, the run is really, like, just don't fuck up. Pretty much nothing else to worry about for the rest of the run. There's nothing really that can kill me. Unlike in a damageless run where, if you watch my no damage video for Simon's Quest, I have some very close calls, like at the very end of the game, even after all of the, like, difficult stuff is over. Because if you have a no damage run, you just have to get hit once and then it's over. But now that boss fight is over for this run, I just have to, like, close out the game. And do I have to farm here, actually? Because I don't know if I have enough hearts for another oak steak. Oh, okay, I do. Good. Good, good, good. Was not sure about that. That's the only problem about getting the second... Well, it's you know, it's the best option, really. I guess technically the best... If I had perfect hindsight, what I really should have done, actually, now that I think about it, is I should have gotten the second oak stake from Brahms Mansion and then only bought one set of laurels. Because I didn't end up needing... Well... Yeah, because I didn't end up needing the laurels to survive. Speaking of laurels, when that NPC in Laruba Mansion says he'll refill your laurels, normally he'll give you 4, but the silk bag, I didn't even say what the silk bag did. The silk bag increases your laurel count, your max laurels, from 4 to 8. So that guy just gave me 8 laurels. So I'm going to use a bunch of laurels to just, like, invulnerability my way through all this bullshit here. Not even going to fucking worry about it. And under most circumstances, like, the silk bag increasing your max laurels from 4 to 8 is, like, irrelevant because you don't have the time or the hearts to buy 8 laurels anyway. But because that guy on the Laruba Mansion refills all your laurels for free, it's like, it doesn't even fucking matter. That was cool. I remember the last time I got to that skeleton on that ledge, I pussied out and I didn't do, like, the jump whip into him because I was scared. This time I don't give a fuck. I don't give a single fuck. Oh, fun story actually coming up. So, in a prior run, I lost a run right here because what happened was my right input key had gotten stuck. And normally what I'll do when I go upstairs is I'll hold down right and then I'll lift it up and then press up on the keyboard. But I lifted up the right arrow key, and then I just kept fucking walking right off the edge and fell into the water. And I said, of course I respawned right on the ledge, but I said to myself, well, I said Deathless, and I want it to be Deathless. So it's funny, if you go back actually and watch the uncommentated version with input display, you'll see that I actually stopped moving right for a second here, specifically to make sure that the key's not stuck. It's like right... Where is it? Yeah, here, I just stopped for a couple frames for no reason. That was me making absolutely sure that the key was functioning normally so I didn't walk off the fucking edge again. That was so dumb. That's one of the dumbest ways I've ever lost a run. I don't know if that run would have been better or worse than this one if I'd closed it out. I don't remember what my time was looking like there. Because I don't play with, like, splits or, like, live timer or anything. I just do the run and then I just see how it is at the end. Because I don't want, like, shit on my screen distracting me from the game. I don't want to have to, like, press a fucking button every 5 minutes. The last mansion. Bodley. The mansion that, like, really there's no reason... Of all of the routing, like, there are some routes where it makes sense to do Berkeley first before Rover, to do the first mansion before the second one. I don't think it ever makes any sense to do this mansion before the 5th one. Just because, like, even if you go in with an oak stake already, like, the flame whip is on the way to Laruba, so really, the designers of this game all the way back in 1987 should have put this mansion in a different place, probably. Plus, this is, like, right on the way to Dracula. You don't, like, lose any time backtracking if you take this before Laruba. Those guys just had no idea what they were doing 40 years ago. Why weren't they thinking about my hyper-optimized autistic speedrun route? Although calling this run hyper-optimized is a pretty fucking big joke. An optimized route would have the salamander farm, and would probably have other things too. Yep, I take that jump. In the damageless run, I didn't try to jump over that guy because I was scared. Now I'm not fucking scared at all. I've got everything. I'm at maximum power. I got 3 more laurels. I don't remember what I used them for. Let's find out. I love this part, by the way. This particular area with the mummies where you're just, like, jumping and throwing knives at everything feels so fucking cool. You're just, like, destroying fucking everything in front of you. It's weird for a game, and I hear, do I do the jump? Hell yeah, I'm so fucking confident. I didn't do those jumps to hit the bird guys in the damageless run, but here I'm just, like, on fucking fire. Because the thing is, I know that nothing else in the run can fuck me up. Pretty much once I got that level up, it's just like, okay, nothing can now stop me. I'm not, like, once I got the stun lock on Camilla, I was like, okay, now nothing can stop me. I'm golden from here on out. But it's crazy how much damage the golden knife does. It does a fucking truckload of damage. I should really know the numbers. I don't off the top of my head, but it's a lot. They do like big initial damage, then big like residual damage afterwards. And as you can see, the initial damage is enough to kill these fucking creatures. And plus, because I'm doing that's not good. Plus, because I'm doing this during the daytime, everything just dies like so much faster. Like during the nighttime, these salamanders would take 2 whips to kill, which if you watch my damageless run, you'll see why that can be a problem, because the fact that those guys take 2 whips to kill almost causes me to lose a fucking great run at the 11th hour. Giant pain in the ass. I don't remember what my plan was. I guess I must have thought that I'd intercept that fireball. I don't know. I fucked up there, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm way below sub 50, so I can take a random and unnecessary hit and it doesn't fucking matter at all. I think I fuck up my movement at the end of this too. I think my movement through Dracula's castle is a little bit screwy, which does bother me. I always say there's no such thing as perfect footage, but when I watch footage back, I always notice like little things that don't go right. Here, there's a big thing that didn't go right. Technically, this route was like suboptimal because I basically spent 50 hearts on laurels that I didn't need when I should have spent 50 hearts on a fucking... And then that guy hits me too. This is a nightmare. I should have spent 50 hearts on a second oak stake in Brahm's Mansion, but... Oh well. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Last of the laurels. Get through all this. I think I might actually be nervous at this point. I know I was just saying that I was like super confident, but like me doing all this weird shit, like running into the mummy, and I think the holy water throws I'm going to screw up in a second here. I think I might have actually been nervous. I might have been afraid that like I wasn't under 50 somehow. Because I think this was the first run of this route that I finished. Because I finished a run with an earlier route that came in at like 51:27 or something, and I guess I wasn't exactly sure how much time the new route would save, so maybe I'm worried that I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, I think I fucked this up. Ugh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Painful. That hurts. That hurts way worse than a dozen mummies headbutting you. Headbutting your ankles and knocking you off of a gravestone. Ugh. Oh well. I talked in my last video how I actually like this last part of Dracula's Castle, even though it's kind of lame. That's kind of how I feel about Simon's Quest in general, to be honest. Like, I like this even though I know it's not good. There's some video games, some Castlevania games that I think are bad, and I don't like them. Like Circle the Moon, but this is one where it's like, it's bad, but I actually really like it. Which means that when I release my updated tier list video, it's probably going to be put in a place that people don't like. So there's a fun little quirk here, which is that I actually hit Dracula before he appears, and before the music starts. So the final boss music never plays and Dracula never appears, which is pretty funny. I don't know how tight the timing on that is. I know that I screw it up. It's probably pretty easy because I don't think I've ever missed that in the in my various attempts that I've gotten to Dracula. So that's the run. Pretty fun to throw 100% into the mix, 100% plus Deathless. Because like I said, most of the fun stuff just comes from the routing, and then like some of the kinetics of moving Simon through the world are pretty cool, especially if, as I had at this point, I had a lot of like NES Castlevania muscle memory from playing a bunch of Castlevania 3, which those videos are going to come up next. You'll be seeing those after this one at some point. I haven't quite planned out an upload schedule yet. But there'll be a bunch of Castlevania 3 videos coming up. I should have more to say about those in terms of like the specifics of the gameplay. Because that game, in case you haven't noticed, anybody who's played it, is a little bit more difficult than Simon's Quest. Dracula's Curse is just ever so slightly tougher. Slightly more complex level design, slightly more threatening enemy behavior, slightly more bosses with slightly more tricks up their sleeve. So this should be more than just a... That should be more than just a free association session, which is kind of what these Simon's Quest commentaries have been. So I'll have more substantive stuff to say on those videos when they come out. So keep your eyes peeled. That should be coming up soon. Oh, I wanted to point out something here, which is that Dracula rattles his gravestone so hard that it actually flips around at the end of here, which is interesting because like reversing things is a common theme in Satanism, or at least that's what schizophrenics on BitChute tell me. Anyway, on that note, keep an eye out for the next video and keep on earth rocking.